Yay! We are here for another freaking episode for the No BS Hello Success podcast. And today we are going to talk about embracing the unfamiliar to propel personal growth. So, embracing that discomfort to propel personal growth in your at-home business. I'm going to take you back to 5 years ago when I was first introduced to the business of making money online. And I was a hard no for 5 years prior. Sitting around on the holidays, my sisters would scroll social media and say, those people who are in that pyramid scheme and wasting their time and being spammy whammy buttholes, what in the actual heck are they doing? And none of you better ever do that ever. I will block you and we will no longer be sisters. Word for freaking word. And 5 years after that, life circumstances had changed. I was going through a divorce. I walked out to my mailbox to get a student loan bill that had told me I owed $1,000 per month to the government for my student loans. And I was already living paycheck to paycheck. Money was constantly the issue whenever there was anything needed for myself or for Isabella. I was already working a full-time job as an HR specialist, 9 to 5. On the weekends, I took my cosmetology license and did hair out of my home. I freaking waitressed for a friend, and I had my own cleaning business. So there was not any allotted time to be in business, neither did I have any use to be in business. I literally had less than 200 friends on Facebook with 0 followers. I didn't have an Instagram. I didn't have a TikTok. I didn't have a YouTube. And the second I decided to become open to taking a look at making money online, I watched a video and I took a leap of blind faith. And right as I started, I get a message from my ex-husband that says, "You're involved with one of those pyramid schemes. You're never going to make any money. Why don't you go get a real job?" Also, my family members were saying the same thing. Well, you're in a pyramid scheme. Holidays were spent, but I had this huge passion for showing up for this business. And I was so excited and I wanted to prove every single one of them wrong. So, embracing the unfamiliar to propel personal growth was something that I mastered. And you are going to master it with these 5 tips that I'm bringing in hot to you today for you to start implementing. The first one is, what is your vision? What is your vision for this business? And does it make you feel warm and freaking fuzzy inside? So my first vision when I got started in this business was to win a success trip. So the company that I was a part of, if you helped 3 people get started with a total solution package and you did that for 12 months, you got to go on a trip for 5 nights, 6 days. You got to bring someone freaking with you and all your expenses were paid for. And I, being growing up with a family of 6, a mom and a dad, my mom didn't go back to school until she was 35. My dad worked at Mr. Muffler. Our traveling was going camping. So I really wanted to take myself on this trip with a friend. And I remember I sat down, I got out my journal, I started journaling what we would do on this trip, what kind of outfits I would pack, how good the sun would feel on my face. And I even took pictures from the web. I searched the trip, looked at the destination from previous years, and I cut out pictures of it. And every single day, every morning, I'd sit down and I'd take 5 minutes and journal my thoughts. And I'd look at these pictures as if it had already happened. So the first thing you have to do is get intentional with your vision and why you are doing this business. Whether you're paying for a family vacation, this is going to be very meaningful to you and your family for an additional income stream. How and why? You have to get so deep and nitty gritty with what that is going to look like when it happens and how it's going to make you feel. And if it doesn't make you all warm and fuzzy and heated up inside every time you envision it and journal about it, you need to go back to the basics. Okay. The second thing was you have to, and I had to, anticipate the obstacles. It's unrealistic for it to be 100%. Okay? It was crazy getting into the business of making money online and, being trained and given systems and being told, show up on social media, put up stories, start new conversations with people, follow up with people you started conversations with. And then there was this word, invite. And it just absolutely paralyzed me. I was so afraid of inviting that I could do everything on my business activity tracker. I could show up for my vision. I could show up for my mindset, but I couldn't show up to invite. And when I realized that I was never going to make it to my vision without inviting, because it is a daily method of operation to be in business for anyone, I had to pull myself back and ask myself, what was going to happen if I did invite someone? Is it going to kill me? Am I going to have 102 fever? Like, what is literally going to happen if I ask someone, if they're open to taking a look at something, and if not, no big deal. So literally, I have my notes here. I had to learn how to rewrite the narrative around inviting. I have a miracle in my mouth. There is someone out there right now on social media, this very second, who is struggling and needs what it is that I have to offer them. And this could forever change their freaking life. I have a miracle in my mouth. And I started saying that to myself and revving myself up before I would even do the invite. And those thoughts would go through my head. And before I know it, I turned the biggest weakness of inviting into my superpower. And just like I'm not comfortable all the time doing podcasts, and it still makes me really nervous inside and my hands sweat and my palms get sweaty, I play on my Alexa device on the highest volume that we have, Whatever It Takes by Imagine Dragon, every single time I hit that live button. I get fired up. I think about the lives that I can impact. I think about the people that are out there who are struggling and living paycheck to paycheck. And if I didn't go live and share that I was this normal human being who had $60,000 in debt and I had no use being in business and I'd never done anything on social media and I didn't have any support from my family or my ex-husband and I was being made fun of, that it's okay to be in discomfort because that's how you propel in personal growth. Okay, so that's my second tip. Being 100% is unrealistic. Look at Old Navy. If they sent out 1 million campaigns today for $5 off a pair of shorts and only 20,000 people used it, do you think for 1 second that's going to paralyze them when it comes to the next time they are going to come up with a campaign? Do you think that those people they emailed, they're never going to email them again because they didn't use that coupon? It's unrealistic. So you have to, going back to, anticipate the obstacles that you are going to come across in your at-home business and rewrite the narrative around it. What are some of those obstacles? Some for me were, okay, I like having conversation with people in public and being able to see what they're wearing and their shoes and how their hands are and if they're a personable person. But you put me behind a screen and it's a little bit more challenging for me. And I just had to remind myself, like, no, Michelle, this gives so many more people out there an opportunity who aren't the type of person to be face to face to have that conversation. You can look at their pictures, you can go on their stories, you can read their posts and kind of get a feel for what kind of person they are. And I rewrote that narrative just like I did for inviting. And that's how the discomfort propelled my personal growth forward. Are you with me or are you with me? Okay. Number 3 was you have to affirm it. You have to repeat and affirm positive affirmations around what it is that you are trying to do. Whether that means, if you're anything like me, back 5 years ago, I was at my first ever event and I was up all the way in the nosebleed seats, all the way up. I saw all these beautiful women walking across stage, not just one, not just 10, not just 20. I saw an entire floor above the big bleachers of women just covered, men and women. And I looked and I said, next year, it's going to be me. I'm going to be down there. I'm going to be walking across that stage. And I had to go back to the vision piece of it. Like, why? Did I just want to get dressed up and get sexy and put heels on and walk across the stage? Or did I want my hard work and the discomfort that I had gone through show other people that when you work hard and you put the work in, you can have anything it is that you want? Anything. So affirming it, when I say that, I mean, for a year from that day I left that event until the next event, which I walked across that stage, I said, I walked across a stage in a black dress with flats on, or otherwise I'd fall. And I had red lipstick on, and it felt so good that I had butterflies the entire freaking time. It was like I was at a soccer tournament and they called my name to give me the most valuable player. And every day I would say those affirmations in my head. So whether that be that you want to be in the business that I'm a part of now, you can hit like a gold rank or a bronze rank, or if you want to build a team, you can do a director rank. Whatever it is that you want to be, you have to be walking around saying, I am a director. I am gold. And you also, with those affirmations, have to take action and ask yourself, am I doing what someone who's bronze is doing? Am I doing what the person who is a director, am I doing that? And you have to literally get so intentional with your day-to-day activities from 8 o'clock in the morning until 11 o'clock at night to know exactly when you are going to do those things that are going to move the needle forward in your business. Are you doing what a director 3 is doing? Are you taking the responsibility and doing what someone who's bronze is doing? So you not only have to affirm it and say it over and over again as if it has already happened, write it in red lipstick all over your mirror. But when is that going to happen? When are you going to do those things that the person who's a director 3 is doing? What time and where will you be? Will you be doing it from your phone? Will you be doing it from your iPod? Will you be doing it from the soccer field at your daughter's 3-hour soccer tournament? And each and every day before you lay your head on your pillow, that should be planned out for the day forward. And I got very good at this, where sometimes it'd be 11:30 at night and I'd go to lay down in bed and I'd look at my tracker for someone who wants to walk across stage. And I said, am I doing things that are going to get me to walk across stage? And I'd look at it and I'd go, damn, I didn't do anything today that's going to get me to walk across that stage. And now it's a choice. Now I have a choice to do those things even when I'm tired, or I can go to bed. And guess what I did? I chose to do those things that were going to move the needle forward and get me walking across that stage in a black dress with flats on and with that bright red lipstick. So that's my 4th thing. My last thing is you have to attach a story to it. You have to attach a story to the growth that you are going to have. So here's an example. You're on a basketball team, okay? Or soccer or softball or volleyball, or your child is, okay? And they're practicing and they love it and they're doing amazing and it's fun and they're doing good. But they come and get scouted. Back in the day, back when I was in high school, I got scouted to be on an AAU team for traveling. And they came and scouted you to come be a part of their team. So now you're going from like rec to like travel, okay? And you go and you're part of this team and you know no one. You're the new person on the team. Everybody's kind of knowing each other. You go to your first game. You're no longer a starter when you used to start every single game. You're sitting on the bench waiting for when you're going to go in. The first half of the soccer game goes by. You didn't play once. The second half of the soccer game goes by. You didn't play at all. And you sat through and got the picture with everybody and everyone clapped and you're like, I didn't even play, when you're used to playing the entire game and being a starter and everyone thinking you're the all-star, and here you are and you put on a happy face, or your child puts on a happy face, and you walk into the car and you just get in the car and you just throw everything down and you're like, I want to go back to my rec team. I don't want to do this anymore. And you're like, you hear someone, and hopefully it's a parent, or hopefully it's the spirit that says, but if you go back to the old team, you're not going to grow. That's not where you're going to grow. This new challenge, this new team, the way things are done, you're going to become a starter and you're going to be an all-star. You didn't start there in the last team. You can't quit. But if you want to go back to that rec league, nothing is going to change. You're still in your comfort zone. Your goals are not moving forward. So you leave that game and you take it as a grain of salt, maybe planted a seed, and you huff and you puff and you get home and you go in your bedroom and you slam the door and you just sit in there. And about an hour goes by and you go downstairs and you go outside and you start kicking the soccer ball, or you see your child kicking the soccer ball. And they're kicking it and they're kicking it and they're out there for 3 hours. And you just see it. And you go outside and you're like, hey, Bella. She's like, hey, Mom. You know what, Mom? You're right. I can do anything that I put my mind to. As long as I'm willing to show up and practice and give it my all, what's meant to be is eventually going to be. I'm not going to be stuck here forever, because in this discomfort moment, by me letting the caution tape not pull me back and me push up against it, I'm going to propel my personal goals forward instead of staying stagnant. So that's what I want you to remember in your at-home business. Every single time you feel discomfort, or you take your phone and you slam it down and you're like, one more person told me no, one more person ignored me, I suck. I want you to look back and think, if I walk away from this business and I quit and I stop right here in my tracks, is that going to propel me as a human being, as an entrepreneur, to move my personal goals and propel them forward instead of being the exact same person I was before? Personal growth comes with discomfort. Sitting here on this podcast and talking to you, when I look at comments, sometimes I want to throw up. But I have such a big vision, and I know that I can help other people who have the same struggles that I had and the same discomforts by sharing my story. Go from being that person who's paralyzed to freaking creating a monster firework and taking your business from average to freaking savage, baby. So I encourage you to tag your downline, upline, sideline, business partner. Share this with them. Definitely hit and subscribe to that podcast. It's Michelle Churchill Dworak. No BS, Hello Success. I bring you the latest and greatest, best tips and skills and strategies that are going to take your business today, 2023, on June 29th, from an average business to a savage business. Tune into these type of trainings when you are struggling and turn your narrative into a positive. And I'm going to tell you that the rest is going to be history. I have created a multiple six-figure business from being a woman who was told I joined a pyramid scheme, and my ex-husband still tells me to this day to go get a real job and that I'm a gym teacher. I don't know about you, but what I have done and what I have built and the empowerment that I have brought to other people's lives by sharing my story is definitely not something that all gym teachers can do. Thank you guys. Have a good day.